On a cloudy afternoon in the bustling city of Riverside, a small cafe downtown buzzed with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the muffled hum of conversations. Sitting in a discreet corner, Peter Latham, a well-known businessman in the city, analyzed documents on his tablet. Always impeccable in his appearance, Peter exuded confidence and elegance, but there was something deeper in his eyes, a restlessness. As he waited for his coffee, something caught his attention. Near the counter, a simple woman with worn-out clothes and her hair tied back carelessly was the target of laughter and whispers from two men. One of them made a sarcastic gesture as he looked at Cindy, making his disdain clear. She, with a firm posture, ignored the insults while carefully counting a few coins to buy a plain coffee. Her gaze was fixed on the menu, but her quick breathing betrayed the discomfort she tried to hide. Peter felt a pang in his chest as he observed the scene. There was something about that woman, an unshakable dignity mixed with profound exhaustion, that piqued his curiosity. The contrast between her simplicity and the hostility surrounding her deeply disturbed him. In an unexpected gesture, he approached her directly, noticing the evident discomfort in her expression. With a calm and gentle tone, he asked, "Excuse me, are you okay?" Cindy looked up, visibly surprised by the approach, and hesitated before responding, "Yes, I'm fine, thank you." Peter leaned slightly, his eyes fixed on hers, trying to convey sincerity. "If those people whispering and making insinuations are bothering you, I can go talk to them." His tone was firm but not aggressive. Cindy's eyes widened, startled by his direct proposal. "No, please don't do that," she said quickly, almost in a whisper. "I'm used to this kind of situation." Peter frowned, clearly uncomfortable with how naturally she accepted such treatment. "It shouldn't be this way. No one deserves to be treated like that," he said, with a seriousness that made Cindy avert her gaze, trying to hide a mix of embarrassment and gratitude. "Really, thank you for your concern, but I'd rather let it go," she replied, now with a small smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. There was a certain sadness in her voice, but also a quiet strength that impressed Peter. "Then at least let me pay for your coffee," he said, quickly changing the subject but maintaining the same gentle tone. Cindy hesitated for a moment but, noticing the genuineness in his gesture, eventually accepted. "All right, thank you," she said softly, with a slight nod. As she moved to a nearby table, Peter stayed where he was, watching her from a distance. He couldn't take his eyes off her. Despite her simple appearance, there was something about Cindy that deeply fascinated him. Her aura of kindness, resilience, and dignity touched him in a way he couldn't explain. She sat near the window, looking at the rain beginning to fall, and Peter felt that this woman was much more than she seemed. Even without knowing much about her, he was already captivated, his heart racing as he remembered the name she had mentioned, Cindy. In the days that followed, Peter couldn't get Cindy out of his mind. Every gesture and expression of hers at the cafe seemed etched in his memory. Determined to learn more, he asked his assistant to investigate who she was, a step he rarely took. When he received the report, he was profoundly moved. Cindy was a talented music teacher, a graduate with honors, but her life had been marked by devastating tragedies. Losing her parents in a car accident had left her alone in the world, and a betrayal by a business partner had led to the collapse of her small music school. Destitute, she lost her home and started living off temporary jobs. Even so, her passion for music remained alive, and she continued to offer free lessons to underprivileged children at a community center. Peter felt a mix of admiration and sadness. It was as if this woman carried a world of pain and at the same time, an unbreakable strength. He saw an opportunity to help her without hurting her pride. His niece Emily, a 10-year-old girl passionate about music, needed a piano teacher who could inspire her. Cindy would be perfect for the role. More than that, it would be a way to offer something meaningful without it seeming like charity. Carefully, he approached Cindy again, this time with a clear job proposal. Cindy, initially wary, hesitated to accept. Her experiences with wealthy people weren't positive, and she feared being judged or exploited. However, Peter was patient, gently explaining that it was a dignified job for which she was highly qualified. He chose his words carefully, fearing he might scare her or come across as condescending. Cindy remained skeptical, but slowly, the sincerity in his eyes made her reconsider. Over time, her need outweighed her doubts, and Cindy accepted, still cautious but with a slight glimmer of hope in her eyes. For Peter, that moment was more profound than he imagined. It wasn't just the satisfaction of helping, it was a connection he couldn't explain. He saw in Cindy not just a struggling woman but someone who embodied strength and resilience amidst adversity. The idea of contributing to a small change in her life brought him an unexpected warmth. For the first time in a long while, he felt that his actions made sense in a more personal way. Watching Cindy accept his help, even reluctantly, awakened in him a desire to continue being a positive presence in her journey. He was becoming more deeply involved than he had ever anticipated. Cindy's first visit to Peter's sister's house marked a new chapter. After accepting the job, it was decided that the lessons would take place at Emily's home for the girls' convenience. Cindy agreed, although she was slightly nervous about the idea. On the first day of lessons, she arrived with her backpack of teaching materials and a mix of nervousness and determination. Crossing the gates of the property, she was completely enchanted by the beauty and opulence of the place. The mansion was imposing, with modern architecture and immaculate gardens, an absolute contrast to her simple life. For a moment, she felt out of place, but she took a deep breath and focused on Emily. Inside, she was warmly welcomed by Lawrence, who showed kindness and helped her feel more at ease. When she finally met Emily, the girl seemed curious and a bit shy, but Cindy quickly won her trust with her gentle and encouraging approach, using games and examples to make learning fun. During the lessons, Peter made a point of stopping by to greet her, which made Cindy feel both uncomfortable and appreciated. He always brought a sincere smile and a few kind words, making those visits increasingly frequent. Gradually, Cindy began to feel less intimidated and more confident in her new routine, realizing she was there not just to teach but also to grow and feel valued. Over time, casual encounters between Peter and Cindy became more frequent. One afternoon, he found her in the garden of Lawrence's house, sitting under a tree. With 2 cups of tea in hand, he sat beside her with a welcoming smile. Cindy, usually reserved, hesitated at first but slowly allowed herself to relax. As they talked, she noticed something different about Peter. For the first time, Cindy saw a kind man whose warmth transcended the clichés she associated with wealth and power. He was attentive, listened to her words with an engaging calm, and showed genuine interest in her stories. That interaction made her see him in a new light. Peter wasn't just a successful businessman, he was a generous person with a warm heart that surprised her. On the other hand, Peter had long since surrendered to his own emotions. Since the day he saw her at the cafe, something within him had changed. However, it was in that moment, as he listened to her share her pains and dreams, that he felt his heart open even more. He saw in Cindy a strength and kindness that enchanted him in an inexplicable way. He admired how she faced her struggles, and the contrast with his own world made her even more special. "You have a beautiful perspective on life, Cindy," he said, breaking a brief silence as he looked at her. Cindy smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and gratitude. "I guess I just try to make the best of what I have," she replied modestly. For both, that moment was more than a conversation. It was a point of connection, a meeting of 2 souls that, even from different worlds, found comfort in each other. The feelings between them grew as they spent more time together. Peter made sure to include Cindy in special moments, and she gradually allowed herself to live those instances of happiness by his side. Quiet dinners, conversations under the starlit sky, and shared smiles became part of their routine. Cindy, initially reluctant, began to see Peter in a completely new way. He wasn't just a wealthy and successful man, he was someone who brought genuine comfort and joy into her life. Meanwhile, Peter had long been captivated by Cindy's charm. Her simple beauty, kindness, and unwavering strength were qualities he couldn't ignore. For him, each moment spent with her reinforced just how special she was. However, during a charity event organized by Peter, Cindy felt the weight of critical gazes. Despite Peter's constant support, she decided she couldn't continue the relationship. "I care about you, Peter. And that's why I need to step away. This world isn't for me, and I don't want you to suffer because of me," she said with tears in her eyes. The following days were difficult for both. Cindy immersed herself in work, dedicating even more time to the community center. Peter, on the other hand, couldn't accept the separation. He knew he had to prove to her that their love was stronger than any prejudice. At a charity concert, Peter decided it was time to show Cindy and everyone how much she meant to him. Knowing Cindy was organizing a benefit event for the music school, he decided to surprise her. In addition to making a generous donation, Peter used his influence to rally support from other businesspeople to help the cause. During the ceremony, he gathered his courage and took the stage. The audience fell silent as he picked up the microphone and with an emotional tone began, "Today, we are here to celebrate something far greater than just a cause. We are here to celebrate the courage and strength of an incredible woman who has turned adversity into inspiration." He looked directly at Cindy, sitting in the front row, visibly surprised. Cindy is not just a music teacher. She is a leader, a visionary, a woman who refuses to give up even in the face of the greatest challenges. Her dedication to children, her commitment to music, and her desire to do good are examples we should all follow. Cindy, you show us that, with courage and kindness, it's possible to change the world. The audience erupted into applause as Cindy, overwhelmed, tried to hold back tears. Peter continued, "You taught me that a person's true value is not in what they possess, but in what they share. And today, I'm here to say that I believe in you, Cindy. I believe in your strength, your vision, and the impact you have on the lives around you." Cindy, with tear-filled eyes, was invited to the stage. Trembling with emotion, she accepted the invitation and stepped up. Looking at Peter, she saw not just words but a sincerity that deeply touched her. "I don't know what to say," she began, her voice shaky. "Peter, thank you for believing in me, even when I doubted myself. Thank you for showing me that love and support can transform lives. Today, more than ever, I feel like I'm not alone." The room burst into applause again, and at that moment, Cindy realized Peter was willing to face anything for her. It was there, amid the lights and emotional gazes, that she felt her heart open to him completely. Over time, the society that once criticized began to accept Cindy. Her music school grew, transforming lives and uniting the community. Peter stood by her every step of the way, showing that true love overcomes all barriers. Years later, sitting together in the same cafe where it all began, Cindy and Peter watched the rain fall, reflecting on the journey that had brought them together. Their relationship had strengthened over time, marked by affection, respect, and overcoming challenges. Peter, now more than ever, knew that meeting Cindy had been the greatest fortune of his life. And for Cindy, Peter was not just a partner but also a pillar of support and unconditional love. With a smile, Peter held her hand and said, "I never imagined that cafe would change my life. Thank you for teaching me that a person's true value lies in their courage and kindness." Cindy smiled, her eyes shining with emotion and gratitude, and replied, "And you taught me that love can turn even the darkest days into something extraordinary." At that moment, they both understood that the love they had built together was an example that true connections transcend prejudice, challenges, and differences. The lesson life had given them was clear. With courage, kindness, and mutual support, it is possible to turn your story into something extraordinary. If you enjoyed this touching and inspiring story, leave a like and share it with someone special. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories that teach us valuable lessons. And remember, the true value of love lies in seeing beyond appearances and turning challenges into shared triumphs. See you next time.